Hello everyone, let's have more news about the Lakers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. LeBron James's future has suddenly become the biggest talking point in the basketball world. James opted into his $52.6 million player option for 2025-26 with the Los Angeles Lakers, but might ask for a trade at some point. With that in mind, fans on X were asked where he'd rather play, and his friend Cuffs the Legend went with the Dallas Mavericks. Whether this is an informed opinion or just what he'd like to see is unclear. The Mavericks would be an interesting landing spot for James, provided the Mavericks don't include Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving in their package for James. He'd reunite with two of his former co-stars in Dallas. He won a title with Irving on the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 and with Davis on the Lakers in 2020. We came up with a package that would see the Mavericks acquire James without giving up their two stars. They could well become the favorites to win it all with this move. Lakers insider Jovan Buha also listed the Mavericks as one of 4 teams that would make the most sense for James. Buha also revealed there has been some buzz about the 21-time All-Star going to Dallas. There has been some buzz, I will say, in the general NBA ether over the last week or two with LeBron and Dallas, Buha stated. And if you just look at the situation, they have Anthony Davis, they have Kyrie Irving, they have Jason Kidd, who LeBron played with in Team USA and then also played under with the Lakers, Buha continued. Kidd was an assistant on that 2020 title team, and LeBron loved being coached by him. They also have Nico Harrison. He is a former Nike guy, and LeBron is Mr. Nike. Now let's go to another video. Don't forget to leave a like.
He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. So, this is why opting in to your contract doesn't necessarily mean everything it sounds like it says, because why would the agent, Wendy, put out a statement like that if it was that simple? Take us through what this all means.
Yeah, there's something going on here, and I, to be honest with you, I don't completely know what it is. I talked to Rich Paul yesterday. He reiterated essentially what he's told Shams. What I can tell you is I do not think LeBron James is going to be traded, either today or tomorrow or in a month or in 3 months, because, number one, he makes $53 million, and doing a trade like that to a competitive team that has a high payroll is going to be very difficult. And secondly, he has a no-trade clause, which would mean he would control all sides of a trade. Not only where he would want to go, but what he would want to get traded for. And those parameters just make it unlikely a deal like that would ever happen. So while it is fascinating to think about, I don't think that's an avenue here. Also, I will point out that the Lakers finished as the number 3 seed in the Western Conference last year. Now, it was tightly bunched. The difference between the 3 seed and the 7 seed wasn't that big, but this is not a team that is not competitive for a championship. And I would expect in the next 2 days they add a player or two to their core that would improve their hand a little bit. So the way that LeBron's operation has approached this is an indication that he is not happy. And I'm not sure what the Lakers can do to make him happy in the next couple of days that they hadn't done in the last 6 months. And I'm not sure what his next move would be after that. We're all going to want to wait and watch how this plays out.
Yeah, Bobby, how do you think this plays out? Is there if he wanted to be traded, is there even a market for him at this point?
You know, to be sensitive to LeBron, who's considered one of the greatest of all time, there isn't, and here's why, Dan. He's making $53 million. He's in his last year of his contract. He's 40 years old, and I talked to numerous teams yesterday and asked that same question. Would you give up basically the farm, and basically you'd have to give up 4 or 5 players to go get LeBron James for 1 year? And the unanimous answer was no, they wouldn't. Now, the stakes change a lot if LeBron James ever became a free agent and did some type of buyout in Los Angeles. There you would have 29 teams lined up for him. But from a trade perspective, and here's a hypothetical, his former team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are in this second apron and have spent a lot of money, they would basically have to trade about 6 players, Dan, just to go out and get him for 1 year. And as one team told me, that's not smart business.
Well, and the other thing, as Brian pointed out, the thing about this, too, is because LeBron has a no-trade clause, he controls all parts of any kind of trade. So not only does LeBron get to say, hey, I want to go to a certain team, he also gets to say, hey, these are the guys I want to come back for me in a trade because this is what I want to have left on the team when I get there, right? If you go back 20 years ago, Kobe Bryant had a no-trade clause. He was on the Lakers. Remember, he wanted to go to the Chicago Bulls. There were negotiations about whether Luol Deng should be in the trade, all these different guys. Eventually, Dr. Jerry Buss sat down with Kobe and said, we're not going to trade you. This is not worth it. You're going to be on the Lakers. That's where I think this is going to end. I don't know if that conversation is going to happen, but there's just not a realistic way to get LeBron somewhere else by a trade. So I think we're going to see him in the fall with Luka Doncic in the Laker uniform.
And just so the viewers are clear, if they can't trade him and he does want out, is there any kind of avenue at all for that, for him to get bought out and become a free agent?
I mean, in theory, the Lakers could waive him and say, hey, you can go be a free agent. I don't see any reason why the Lakers would do that, particularly because LeBron James 2 days ago had the opportunity to be a free agent and opt out of his contract and elect to test the open market, and he chose to take the $52.6 million that were available to him. So to me, if I'm the Lakers, this is very simple. I put out a statement. I say we're thrilled LeBron James has opted in. He's one of the best players of all time, and we're going to be excited to have him and Luka Doncic on the court at training camp with Coach J.J. Redick in the fall.
But you know what, Dan?
Yeah.
They haven't put out a statement. So, you know, it's not a rule that you put out a statement announcing when a player picks up an option, but it is customary. And the Lakers did not do that. Unless it went to my spam folder and I didn't see it, guys. I did not see the Lakers put out a statement. He did. I had to actually check with the team in the league. I said, did LeBron actually opt in? And they said, yes, the paperwork went through. He opted into his contract. Last year when LeBron signed a contract extension, Rob Pelinka had about a 115-word quote talking about how wonderful LeBron James is and what he means to the Lakers and what he means to their franchise. Yesterday there was no statement to the Lakers' reaction to the way this was announced. And, you know, I will say this. I talked to Rich Paul. Luka Doncic was informed that this was going to be LeBron's decision. The Lakers were informed that this was going to be what was going to be said. Luka was informed that this was going to be said. So this didn't catch them by surprise. But you know who it did catch by surprise? The rest of the league. Because as I considered which teams that LeBron would ever want to play for, I thought, well, maybe there's some sort of something afoot here. And so I went sort of team by team. And the teams didn't know that this was coming. So Luka was more aware than the potential other teams. So again, there's something that's unusual here. And it's just unusual for LeBron to be in this spot, Dan. He has signed 9 contracts in his illustrious career. 8 of them have had player options in them. Not once in the 8 years has he ever taken, or the 8 times, has he ever taken that player option. He has always opted to sign a new contract. This is the first time in 23 years he's ever been on a contract that is in its last year. And so that is a unique position.
That's the point here. Something is weird about this, Bobby, because it should be cut and dried. He opts in. You say they can't trade him, like he's probably going to end up on the Lakers, and yet there are these other little aspects of this that make it strange. Bobby, what do you do if you're running the Lakers right now? What's the right way for them to handle it?
I'm bringing him back. I'm not entertaining a buyout. There's no benefits of doing a buyout. And yes, you don't want a player that's not happy. And certainly how this roster is built moving forward, and if that's where LeBron is. But by doing a buyout, Dan, you're going to have the non-tax mid-level exception with a buyout or without a buyout. Now you can make the argument that the Lakers would have had $35 million in cap flexibility if LeBron James had opted out of his contract, and that would have made it easier as far as how you navigate this situation here. But as I said, there's no benefit doing a buyout with LeBron James, especially if he's going to go to a Western Conference team. Now, going east changes the dynamics a teeny bit here, but if you're in the Lakers organization today, you're focused on getting a center, maybe multiple centers, using that non-tax mid-level exception, and trying to improve this roster right now.
It's Tim, we talked a little bit last week about this. The Lakers are on almost kind of 2 different timetables right now. LeBron doesn't have much time left and wants to win again. Meanwhile, they bring in Luka Doncic last year. They've got to build the team around him for the future. So how do they strike that balance? Where does this all end up?
Where it winds up is with LeBron James playing on the Los Angeles Lakers next season, in my opinion, and with the Lakers being in, frankly, the best possible position they could be in, with LeBron James on a 1-year deal going into next summer, when, by the way, next summer, when Luka Doncic can also be a free agent, the Lakers right now have 1 contract on the books. Jared Vanderbilt is making about $12 million next summer. That's it. So they have a completely blank canvas to go to Luka Doncic, the face of their franchise going forward, say, hey, Luka, Obviously, we want you to extend. He can extend his contract on August 2nd. They would love for him to do that then. Even if he doesn't, though, because there's no financial difference between doing it then or next July, go to him for next summer and say, Luka, who do you want on the team? What do you want the team to look like? We can remake it however you want in your image around you. And by having LeBron on this expiring contract, they can both win as much as they can this year and then also have the flexibility to get Luka Doncic the help he wants next summer.
So, Wendy, you mentioned that Luka was aware this move was coming. Do you think it has any impact on what his decision ends up being?
Well, I'm sure he's scratching his head a little bit too, because this is not something that anybody expected. But when Luka makes his decision in a month, give or take, on whether he wants to extend his contract with the Lakers, I don't think LeBron figures into that, because that's for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't think the Lakers can count on LeBron either being in the NBA or being there a year from now. So if anything, like Bontemps said, Luka can look at this contract decision basically as a vote of confidence in the Lakers franchise, which, frankly, historically, has been a smart decision. Being in Los Angeles, voting for the Lakers, believing the Lakers can draw talent, they're going to have new, very deep-pocketed ownership. All of those things don't change. And so I don't want to assume how Luka reacted to this, but I don't think it really materially affects his extension decision.
Going to win this series and knock out the Lakers 4-1. Shocking here.
Since my first NBA Finals appearance, I think in 2007, every season that I did not make it to the finals or did not win a championship has been a disappointment.
Well, folks, we got news. The King is back. ESPN senior NBA insider Shams Charania back with us. Oh, by the way, so is LeBron James. So, Shams, let me ask you. I hear he's back for a King's ransom, but with a twist.
Yeah, LeBron James opted into his contract. That's the first time he's ever opted into a contract. We know he's famous for those 1+1s. Well, this time he's not opting out. He's opting in $52.6 million. So we know he's going to be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure, will he play just one more season or multiple more years? But the story here is that LeBron James, I'm told, he wants to be a part of a championship team. And that means with the Lakers, what are they going to do this summer? Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul told me today that they understand where the Lakers are at, building for the future, building around LeBron James, as he says right there. LeBron understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. And that relationship between LeBron James and the Lakers has been fruitful. We know he's been there for 7-8 years, a championship. They've been to 2 Western Conference Finals berths as well. But we see right there, he's appreciative of the opportunity. Now, what are the Lakers going to do this offseason? And if anything, this throws a new wrinkle into free agency, because if LeBron James is thinking twice about his future, there's a lot to evaluate there.
Yeah, realistic chance of winning it all is not getting bounced early in the playoffs, that's for sure.
What can the Lakers do as far as making sure that he's locked in and they're locked into him to just give everybody some comfort as far as that goes?
Making big moves. So what does that look like? I mean, when you think about the center position, Rob Pelinka, the president of basketball operations, has been very clear. We want to go find a center, whether that's someone on the marketplace right now, a guy like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, DeAndre Ayton. I just reported he's finalizing a contract buyout with the Portland Trailblazers. So there's plenty now of players on the potential market. Who could they look at? And then Dorian Finney-Smith, he opted out of his $15.4 million deal today. So he's going to be a free agent. Do they bring him back? And so there's questions around this roster, very legitimate questions around this roster.
We remember the whole Mark Williams fiasco with them. Like, as far as that center position goes, we know they are desperate for that size. But to move over to the other side of Tinseltown with the Clippers, they locked up James Harden for the foreseeable future. What does that mean for this squad?
2 years, $81.5 million extension, and it's an interesting second year. He's got a player option on year 2 in 2026.
Somebody on the NBA Mount Rushmore. We welcome in senior NBA insider Shams Charania. And Shams, 5 p.m. today, the deadline for players or teams to exercise options. One of those players with the decision to make is LeBron James. What more can you tell us?
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. So what we do know is he will be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure whether he's going to play one more season or he has multiple years left. But I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season. And he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. And my understanding is James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future. And Rich Paul told me this morning, the Clutch Sports CEO, that the Lakers have been true partners of his and LeBron James for 8 seasons while he's been there. But as we see right there, he also told me the franchise is going to do what's best for them. They understand that they have to do what's best for the long term. And this adds an interesting wrinkle here in free agency. LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
That is a lengthy statement there from Rich Paul, and we know Luka's eligible for a 4-year extension, August 2nd. So with what you've been told, that statement we've just read, what does it all mean for the Lakers and LeBron moving forward?
The Lakers' perspective is they're doing everything they can to build the team the right way, to try to compete for a championship. We know they're in the center market right now. So you look at centers like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, all available in the market. They're also dealing with Dorian Finney-Smith. He's got a player option decision, $15.4 million player option. He also faces a deadline later today. So they're doing what they can, but LeBron James clearly is of the mindset that he wants to compete for a championship, and he's going to be monitoring very closely. Are the Lakers going to make the moves that puts them in position to seriously compete in that vaunted Western Conference? And then if not, where do those conversations go? That becomes a subplot of this offseason.
Lakers, the 4 seed last year in the West. LeBron turns 41 in December. A whole lot of numbers to digest and parse through it. Shams, thanks so much for the update. You're with us all morning on SportsCenter as we get more info on this.
NBA front office insider Bobby Marks is with us right now. You just heard Shams and saw that Rich Paul's quote right there about LeBron officially opting into his player option for the upcoming season. Bobby, how can the Lakers upgrade their roster around LeBron James and Luka with the assets they have available?
I mean, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. I think certainly from the free agency perspective and then the trade market. We'll start with free agency here. A lot has to do with that player option of Dorian Finney-Smith. If Smith opts into that contract by 5 p.m., the Lakers will have the $5.7 million tax mid-level exception to go out and try to get a player like Brook Lopez or Clint Capella. If he opts out, that number increases potentially to $14 million. Here we're looking at their trade assets that they have going into the offseason. They're in a good spot with expiring contracts, over $60 million when you look at Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, and Gabe Vincent. They have that 1 first-round pick. Remember where they saw it? They tried to trade that in February. It's either in 2031 or 2032. And they have a 1 player on that rookie contract in Dalton Connect. So it's a little bit of 2 things. It's free agency. The Finney-Smith number plays a big role as far as what they're going to have available, and then, of course, exploring the trade market.
And look, we talk about it all the time. LeBron James being 40 years old, we don't know how much longer he's going to be playing in the NBA. How much pressure does Father Time put on the Lakers as well?
Well, they're almost operating under 2 timelines, right? Remember, they acquired Luka, who is extension eligible for $229 million on August 2nd. And now they have a player like LeBron James in the last year of his contract with the Lakers here. So you're trying to win now, but you're also trying to set the stage for the future when LeBron James is not on this roster.
Yeah, a good thing, though, that LeBron James and his camp with Rich Paul, they're
5 p.m. today, the deadline for players or teams to exercise options. One of those players with the decision to make is LeBron James. What more can you tell us?
Phil, LeBron James is opting in to his nearly $53 million player option for the 2025-2026 season. So what we do know is he will be playing a record 23rd NBA season. Still not sure whether he's going to play 1 more season or he has multiple years left. But I'm told he wants to compete for a championship next season, and he is uncertain about the Lakers roster moving forward. And my understanding is James is supportive of the Lakers positioning themselves around Luka Doncic, building for the future. And Rich Paul told me this morning, the Clutch Sports CEO, that the Lakers have been true partners of his and LeBron James for 8 seasons while he's been there. But as we see right there, he also told me the franchise is going to do what's best for them. They understand that they have to do what's best for the long term. And this adds an interesting wrinkle here in free agency. LeBron James is evaluating how he wants to finish his career.
That is a lengthy statement there from Rich Paul, and we know Luka's eligible for a 4-year extension, August 2nd. So with what you've been told, that statement we've just read, what does it all mean for the Lakers and LeBron moving forward?
The Lakers' perspective is they're doing everything they can to build the team the right way, to try to compete for a championship. We know they're in the center market right now. So you look at centers like Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Al Horford, all available in the market. They're also dealing with Dorian Finney-Smith. He's got a player option decision, $15.4 million player option. He also faces a deadline later today. So they're doing what they can, but LeBron James clearly is of the mindset that he wants to compete for a championship, and he's going to be monitoring very closely. Are the Lakers going to make the moves that puts them in position to seriously compete in that vaunted Western Conference? And then if not, where do those conversations go? That becomes a subplot of this offseason.
Lakers, the 4 seed last year in the West. LeBron turns 41 in December. A whole lot of numbers to digest and parse through it. Shams, thanks so much for the update. You're with us all morning on SportsCenter as we get more info on this.
Will LeBron James entertain returning to Cleveland if the Los Angeles Lakers fail to furnish him a championship-ready roster for his 23rd season? Kevin O'Connor suggested a possible trade framework should James demand a trade, while urging the Cavaliers to go all in and bring home the soon-to-be 41-year-old superstar for a swan song. LeBron James to the Cavaliers would require getting under the second apron, which would mean losing Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and a third guy, probably Max Struss, O'Connor wrote on X. It's a lot to give up for a player who may not put you over the top and may have only 1 year left. Then again, Allen has folded in the playoffs and Garland is a tiny guard, O'Connor continued. Could trading them be a low-key salary dump for Cleveland? Then, whenever LeBron retires, the front office would have cap flexibility to build next to Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley with better-fitting players than Allen and Garland. So, in a strange way, adding LeBron could help optimize their short-term title odds while also helping in the longer term. It'd be a complicated trade. A third team at least would have to be involved. A lot would have to go out. But if the chance is there, the Cavs should all in on LeBron. The 64-win Cavaliers team that flopped in the playoffs could intrigue James. Joining forces with Mitchell and Mobley could give him a better shot at competing for a championship in a weakened Eastern Conference than with the Lakers in a loaded Western Conference. In O'Connor's trade proposal, the Lakers get younger with Garland, 25, and Allen, 27, who fits Luka Doncic's timeline better. James put more pressure on the Lakers front office following Rich Paul's comments, explaining his top client's decision to opt in instead of his customary opt-out and sign a new 1+1 deal. And you, fan, what do you think about LeBron James's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.